Alrighty, good evening, everyone. This is Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide, the Warring Triads. My name is Arusta, and my co-commentator tonight will be Possum Orpheus. How are you doing today, Possum?
I am quite well, thank you so much, Arusta. I hope you are doing well also, and I know that I'm super excited for what is an absolute banger of a match between two phenomenal runners on two phenomenal teams in this Warring Triads event. So I'm very excited for tonight's race.
Yeah, absolutely. The standings are coming up on screen now. This is the Onslaught group. This is GrandTrain versus Ultima. And so these are two, as you can see, the two teams which are in the lead right now. So this is a very key game for both of them to hopefully, get a lead going into this week and then maybe win the first match, I believe, for these teams of the week.
Yeah, both teams, as you can see, are 2-1, 5 individual wins on the teams out of I believe, a total of 9 matches so far, with a total margin of victory basically neck and neck. So these two teams incredibly evenly matched. Gaahr representing Team GrandTrain, GreenMonkey representing Team Ultima. The two of them very close together in the standings. They had a very close match, I believe, earlier on, where I think Gaahr just edged out GreenMonkey. Excuse me. And yeah, so looking forward to another, really close one between the two of them, and see who comes out victorious and gives their team a little bit of a leg up to start this week 4 of the Warring Triads.
Absolutely. And so the flags, as you can see right now, so this is the Doom's Rage flag set, one of the three. So compared with the Ultros League that people might be familiar with if you watched our streams before, some of the big changes are that there's only 2 starting characters instead of 3. So you'll have a bit of a rougher time up front. Unlock is 6 characters, 9 espers, and then defeating dragons gets you auto reflect, auto haste, and auto image. What do you think about those, Possum?
It's real interesting. I personally find Doom's Rage to be very therapeutic as a flag set because I like to hit things. The only potential point of concern is what happens if you have like a one character Kefka and Arsh you have to do for your progression for your characters. If you start with like Gogo and Umaro, or someone with low check count and very linear, and it forces you straight into Kefka and Arsh for your characters, can be a doozy. Or if Fnatic's Tower is required. Things like that, the 2 starting characters can lead to a lot of dynamism in the seed, where you just don't know what you're going to get. And those 2 starting characters are really going to drive what our runners do. The rest of the flags, though, love the fact that it's all about hitting things. You start with 20 extra vigor, you lose 10 magic, there's no X magic, no Magitech, no Bolt, no fire spells, no Merton, no Ultima. So a lot in the way of magic is removed, but as you can see from the item rewards, look at the pile of goodies there. There is nary a bad item in that pool. When a Pearl Lance or a Magus Rod maybe is your worst item in there, that's a darn good pool of item rewards for air quote zonks.
Absolutely, and looks like we're about to get started here. So you can see as they skim through the menus, like Possum said, minus magic power, plus vigor, and then a bit of extra levels on enemies and dragons going forward.
Yeah, and this is interesting. We have a Celeste Gao start, tools and capture for Gao, lore for Celeste. Lore is very good, generally speaking. Lore is a little worse in Doom's Rage because you have such limited magic power, but it can still do a lot of work early on if you can find things like Blowfish, Arrow, if you can find GrandTrain, Quasar. Any of those things popping in there can still be really good. Things that are not really good, all of the loot that was in that little hut in Narsh, not really anything special there, and an empty clock.
Yeah, and the one thing that's nice about Celeste is that she can naturally equip some of the magic power improvements. So if you find you have a good lore or you happen to run across one, you can still get her magic power up to a pretty decent level. Toss on a Magus hat, an enhancer, maybe a white dress, which I believe we just saw in the shop there, though they didn't buy it.
Yeah, no, interesting. We see a purchase of a noise blaster here on Gar's side. I'm curious if GreenMonkey does the same. But that noise blaster basically is going to be the confusion status. It can be applied via tools to an enemy, particularly useful with Katana Soul and offerings. You know, if you can get them, that's a huge swing in your favor over a potential opponent. So we'll see if either runner leverages the noise blaster strats versus a potential Katana Soul. That being said, neither one of these characters open up any of the monster in a box checks. So kind of food for thought for later. Not really much immediate impact, but you never know. Could help out even with some random encounters.
Yeah, and a hero ring there on Gar's side, which is actually very, very nice in this flag set because it improves both your magic and your physical abilities, which, you know, as we've been mentioning, physical is probably going to be your long-term thing because of the weapons available and the bigger boost, but magic always still has some value, so very nice to get something that helps out with both.
Yeah, even bad magic is still good enough in a lot of cases. Magic's just so powerful early on. You know, obviously at the end game, you want to be hitting things and hitting them hard in this flag set. But early on, you know, even a level 2 spell, a Fire 2, excuse me, I guess it wouldn't be Fire 2 here, Ice 2, things like that, even rods being broken, those are still very powerful. We see GreenMonkey going through and doing some looting in the world of Balance Narsh, cleaning out a lot of what Gar skipped, while Gar is now in South Figaro in World of Balance.
Yeah, and looks like GreenMonkey found the PM Stalkers, which is actually one of the nicer fights because you can win it immediately with Revivifies, and it's worth a decent amount of experience.
Yeah, 540 XP there is probably worth somewhere between 1 and 3 levels. I would just like probably 3 levels. Maybe get your like level 6, and honestly, level 6 is a huge improvement over level 3. Way more damage can be dealt and a little bit extra survivability without putting a check on the board.
Yeah, meanwhile, Gar going through South Figaro here. With Celeste, I would be surprised if doesn't go in and dip the Celeste check on his way through doing all the looting here.
Yeah, and I see smoke bombs here. I love buying a stack of smoke bombs just to make sure I can get out of some spooky encounters or monster in a boxes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And with this starting Gao, we will see, I believe, I would expect both of them to maybe do a few more shop checks than you would normally see, at least until they find that dried meat, because dried meat is a free check. It's guaranteed to be some kind of progression, so it is a very nice check to find early.
Oh, we know that dried meat's on the airship. It's always on the airship. It always hides there. This is not personal bias at all. That's a fact. Okay, it's personal bias. A lot. And we see some green cherries, some eye drops, some softs, a lot of little consumables here. Preventative maintenance, if you will, just in case status effects are applied to party members being purchased by both runners. Not a lot in the way of offense, though, so far. So we might be relying on some real awkward magic here. Gets slot with Edgar. I want to say that was like 25 magic power on him, though, which is honestly serviceable. That means he rolled 35 natural, which is pretty dang high for Edgar.
Yeah, and he also had, I believe, somewhere in the 60s in terms of vigor. So and Edgar has a naturally very good weapon equip pool, so he will be able to equip pretty much almost anything we find. So he's going to be really good, I think, both early in the seed with slot and then later on when slot sort of falls off.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Celeste, Locke, Edgar on these flags. Just the equip pool is phenomenal, and their stat distribution is generally pretty good too. And then maybe throw in like a realm just for, you know, your magical necessities in there, especially if she's got something like, you know, a throw ability or something like even sword tech, where it can benefit from both the increased vigor that she gets plus her natural magic for some of those sword techs. So, you know, decent start though for our runners, Celeste and Edgar. Two really nice party members to have for Doom's Rage flex in particular. And speaking of that Edgar character, we do have a throne check coming up here in the castle. Going to wait with bated breath to see what this is. And speaking of Realm, I mean, this is 3/4 of my dream party on Doom's Rage. Realm, Celeste, Edgar just need to finish it out with Lock, and we'd then be locked and loaded. And we see Gaahr swapping Edgar to the front of the party. This is so we can get half-price goods. Always nice to be able to purchase things at a cheaper price. Selling off some items here. I'm also curious for both of our runners if the Colosseum is in play for them, given the relative lack of offense that we have found so far, or if they're just going to try to push with things like slots.
If it was me, I would probably at least put off doing the Colosseum. One thing that's nice about the Colosseum in these flag sets is that you do have about half the items are visible in terms of what they're going to give you, but that could always very easily be the half that you don't have, so you don't really have any idea what you're getting.
Yeah, definitely true that, always a gamble, but a calculated one. And looks like GreenMonkey doing some looting here in the basement as well. Is having a little bit of choppiness on the stream, but we're trying to follow it the best we can for y'all. And if things improve, we'll let you know, and you'll see it with your eyeballs as well. But we see Gaahr now going to World of Ruin, South Figaro, going to do some extra looting. No doubt still trying to find some offense here. The best things we've found so far, I think, is like an Excalibur in a shop. And you really never want to be spending 40,000 on an Excalibur. So I can't imagine our runners are looking for that. I know that our runners are also probably looking for Atlas armlets because they are basically the earrings of physical attack. I don't think we've seen them in any relic shop either to this point.
No, I don't believe we have. One thing to note about Atlas armlets is that unlike earrings, they do not stack. So
right.
One Atlas armlet is all you need. And if you have a hero ring, which I think we saw both runners grab one from Returner's Hideout, that already covers that. One thing to note here that's interesting is that if you're looking at the prices on Gaahr's side, leading with Edgar, like Possum said earlier, you get a discount in Castle Figaro, but you also get a discount in South Figaro, but only World of Ruin South Figaro for some reason.
Because it's a properly coded video game with no bugs and only features. That's the stock.
Yeah, I'm sure that's
whenever anything's weird. Zen Thief, what do we think?
I think he's going to be charging 40,000 for a glowing stone.
Ooh, glowing stone.
Though here we are in World of Ruin, so we won't know. Good choice.
Mystery Ice Shield, 11,000. Oh well, we ain't paying 54 grand for a mystery item.
Yeah, because it's only in the World of Balance that he actually tells you what you're getting. Here, if it's glowing stone, here you will just get out if you want it, whatever it is. Ooh, and Ragnarok's there.
Yep. So this is going to be no Colosseum or unlikely to be Colosseum, and also everything must go. We want at least one Ragnarok, maybe multiple if we can afford it. I think I see a Genji armor in there, which would sell for a ton, but armor is also kind of hard to come by. Nutkin suit sells for a ton. I know that Gaahr's trying to squeeze out a second one here and needs about 4K more to do so.
Yeah, and the other thing to note about this is that since you are having potentially things like Ragnaroks or Valiant Knives, you actually can't be in the back row like we'd normally be. So having that Genji armor might actually be useful just for the physical defense, which normally doesn't really matter, but might here.
Yeah, the thing with these flags, offering the potential of auto image at 5 dragons. You have auto reflect at 1, auto haste at 3, and auto image at 5. No dried meat on the airship. Wow, betrayed by convention. That's okay though. Our runners will find it somewhere. But getting that potential auto image, it's a lot to kill 5 dragons, but we have access to 1 with Edgar's checks. We have access to another in the Opera House. We have access to a 3rd at World of Ruin Narsh. We have access to a 4th, technically speaking, though you almost never want to do it, at Fanatic's Tower. And we have access to 2 more in Kefka's Tower. So technically speaking, we have access to 6 dragons already. If you get stuck with everyone in the front row and don't have the levels, auto image is an out, albeit an expensive one time-wise.
Also, if we don't find calmness protection too, right?
And yeah, as we are being spoken to, the voice of God letting us know, if you
you.
don't find calmness protection, auto image is also great calmness protection because it reapplies in between every tier during the final Kefka fight. We see Gaahr doing the Lobo hunt on the Veld, going to give some dried meat, say the word wow, and see what the reward is from here.
Yeah, and this is one of the subtly nice things about having Gao as your starting character, is that you go here before fighting anything else, and you only fight a Lobo, as opposed to, if you get him later in the seed, you might be looking for a while to run into a good encounter.
I don't know, I kind of like fighting the white dragon and then coming here and fighting another one. No, not really, though. Lobos are much easier.
Yeah, and going to go into Serpent Trench, which, this is a very standard play that you just combo them right together because you don't have to fly or travel anywhere in between. Let's see what Kieran has. Speed +2 and Flare.
The Speed 2 is very interesting, especially if we find a jumper or the combination of Dragoon Boots, Dragoon Horn. We do see Gaahr is going to take a dive into Serpent's Trench here, and we see GreenMonkey going into Owzer's Mansion. These are both checks that have random encounters to them, although the Owzer's Mansion ones are more controlled. These are both checks to get your early scaling going, so like this from both runners. Now, did GreenMonkey get those Ragnaroks, do we know? Because I don't believe he's gone to Zen World of Ruin yet.
No, he has not. He went to World of Ruin, South Figaro, then came over here to Jadur, and I did not see what he found in the shops or if he checked them.
It looks like we have slots getting the 7 flush right away, following up with an auto crossbow. It looks like we took out 3 of the 6 enemies on the screen on Gaahr's side and is able to dispatch them. And on GreenMonkey's side, also being greeted by 6 enemies. These ones, though, they are trying to put his whole party to sleep, and it looks like they are succeeding so far. Hopefully they can wake people back up with a little tap there.
Yeah, and I did not see what Realm's stats were, but one thing to note about Realm is she has such high natural magic that she will probably still be useful with magic, even with the -10 multiplier.
Yeah, I mean, Realm typically starts somewhere between like 45 and 55. So at the absolute worst, she would have like 35 right now. And you can give her like a Magus Rod or something like that. Get her well over 40 and be set. And it's quite possible she's still in the mid to high 40s at this point. But it looks like it was 35 magic power according to Schwantz, so thank you for that, Schwantz. So a bit of a low roll for Realm, but 35 is still fine. Give her a little bit of gear, and she'll still do big numbers. Look like we have Chainsaw, Bioblaster, Noise Blaster, and Auto Crossbow on GreenMonkey's side, and you can just revivify these dragons to get some nice XP, get some nice gold, etc. So good fight there for GreenMonkey. Very easy one to clear, quick and painless, which is an ideal fight.
Yeah, meanwhile, Gaahr fighting a couple of the not so great encounters, still experience, but not a ton. And we'll see what this trench rewards.
Yeah, early trench can be a real big play. Some folks love to do it, some folks hate to do it. Looks like we get Seraphim, and then we have a Mog on GreenMonkey's side. So Mog is interesting because it puts into play basically all of World of Balance Narsh, and is this even randomized? We have to say that line at least once. Vanilla Chatternook, which is not great.
Yeah, the one thing that was noticeable on Gaar's side, the shop in Nakia had both Thunder Rods and Ice Rods for about 10k each. So that could be something that, since we have no other way of getting Thunder Magic in the seed, maybe you go back and buy a couple later if you need some alternatives.
And speaking of good ways to deal with awful bosses, one Pearl Rod, you may or may not be able to see it crumbling and fading away. I promise you that Chatternook just got one shot by that Pearl Rod. So great use of that by GreenMonkey. Mog, natural magic, only 24 magic power, not great, but natural magic is huge.
Yeah, and that Mog also had Dance, which I did not see if GreenMonkey checked it, but Dance is kind of... There are some which are very good, but there are a bunch which are not, so with only 24 magic, I could see where you just sort of pass it off and don't really worry about it.
Yeah, for sure. And we see Tritalk here. Gaahr is actually pretty well set up for this. Has Drill, has Slot, has Ragnaroks. While the Ragnaroks themselves won't deal damage if he gets procs, then he's going to be Ragnarok and rolling through this fight. And speaking of, there's a proc right away. Gaahr has said to me before, as kind of one of my mentors in this game, that part of the way to become good at this game is just get procs on your weapons. So he's taking his own advice to heart there. And we see GreenMonkey bought an offering, so doesn't have to do the Katana Soul Hunt now, which is real nice.
Yeah, we'll see if GreenMonkey runs into some weapons to use with it, because right now does not really have a whole lot.
5 damage. Kills the Tritalk. Yep, that's a thing that happened. Crusader Magicite. I am sure we will not be seeing that hard cast at any time, but we'll wonder what the magic will be on it, what the stat boost will be, if anything. I'm sure Gaahr will be interested to check that shortly. GreenMonkey, meanwhile, no espers to his name, which is probably a little disconcerting for him at this point. However, he's got 5 of his 6 characters already. And so that's quite nice, honestly, to have that many characters. He really only needs 1 more to get to his Kefka unlock portion, and then just needs to cram all of the Magicites / Espers he can from there.
Yeah, meanwhile, Gaahr finding the Atlas armlets and also earrings if he wants one. We'll see if he buys some earrings, but Atlas armlets are very, very nice to have in the seed.
Yeah, Atlas armlets are phenomenal. Always love to pick up 3 or 4 of them. I think we have a hero ring already. I believe you said both runners have one, so only need to buy 3 because the hero ring effectively does the same thing with the earrings stapled onto it. So hero rings are wonderful.
Yeah, one little subtle thing I want to point out that how Gaahr is doing is that if you've noticed, he still has not checked that Esper, trying to minimize menuing. So I would imagine right here is where he might do it, check it, so he's doing all his menuing at once. It's a subtle time save, but it does add up.
Yeah, and worth noting also, Realm can use a Ragnarok, so he technically has 3 different people that can use Ragnaroks. I don't know about the 4th character he has, whether they can, but I know at least 3 of the 4 can use Ragnarok. So we could even see another trip back to buy another one at some point. And honestly, it's no Illumina, it's no offering Valiant Knife or offering Atma weapon late game, but a bunch of Ragnaroks late game with levels still hitting for 5 to 7k, whoever the character is that's got him on. So I think that for Gaahr, that's going to be a big piece of knowledge he has, and hopefully for GreenMonkey, he's able to find those as well. And everybody enjoy your beverage. That is an Atlas armlet that Gaahr found after buying a bunch of them. So if you find an item in the first 5 chests after you buy one, you have to take a sip of whatever you're drinking. So I will enjoy some nice, high-quality H2O.
Okay, stay hydrated. Meanwhile, Gaahr also found a Thunder Shield, which is a nice pickup. Will not be learning Bolt from it, but still provides all the defensive benefits, so that is very nice to have. Especially since with the way the empty checks work in this flag set is pretty much all weapons, which is good, but also means you can sometimes struggle to find defensive gear. So anything you find in a chest is very nice to have.
Yeah, it looks like we have that Thunder Shield going on in battle during the drill animation rather than doing it out of battle. So saving on a little bit of menuing as well on Gaar's side. And we see GreenMonkey going through and completing this diver's check now as well. So doing a lot in the way of random encounter checks to keep his scaling way above curve. So that's going to be good for him in the long run. Making sure that he's not getting blown out by some of these fights. And Tentacles, not too much trouble for Gaahr here. That's a fight that can be very rude early on. But a couple Ragnaroks, a couple procs, drill, all of those things going through and doing quite a bit of work there. And we get Shote, another Magicite here. Shote has Mag Power 1. That's probably going to stay on Realm for quite a bit here and just let her get nice and powered up magically. And go from there. She can be the person that takes the lead on magic, and everyone else can hit stuff.
Absolutely, and I mean, if you end up giving her a Ragnarok or an Illumina, that mag power can even help with the procs when you get them. So very nice on all sides. So Possum, one of the things that people always wonder about with Magitech Factory here is, do you do the first 2 and bail out, or do you do the third? What would your thoughts be here?
I don't have 6 characters. I'm doing the whole thing. If you have all the characters you need, the first 2 checks of Magitech Factory are perfectly fine. Then you warp out, you just leave. But if you don't have all 6 of your characters, Magitech Factory, the third spot, is guaranteed to have either an Esper or a character. So you are incentivized to complete it if you are less than your 6 characters you need. So in this situation for Gaahr, I'd be absolutely going through this whole thing. Now, in GreenMonkey's case, if he finds a 6th character elsewhere, you could very well see him only do the first 2 spots here, in part also because he's done a lot of random encounters already. He's got all of Divers done, and he's got all of Bowser's Mansion done. So he's a little ahead of curve where he doesn't necessarily need the Magitech Factory encounters, where Gaahr could still use them because he's only done Divers. So I like this play from Gaahr. And looks like GreenMonkey says, I want all of the rods I can afford, and then buys them. So that's going to give him some power as well. Not sustainable like Ragnarok's, but certainly going to help out his instant offense. And looks like a Mega Elixir was the reward from Magitech 2, so Esper, Mega Elixir, and then either Esper or character at the end here. And looks like GreenMonkey is landing outside of a cave. I believe this is the cave to the ancient castle. And so maybe getting our first dragon sighting.
Yeah, and I like this play from GreenMonkey here, because you get basically 2 checks from this, the ancient cave and then the tentacles. So I think this is a really good check. I am glad to see it.
Yeah, I'm all for it as well. Personally, because I like to get a minimum of 3 dragons on this flag set. I just think that, Reflect is cool. Haste is just really nice to have. And the image, again, is kind of a toss-up if you go for it at the end. But at least 3 dragons is real nice, and this gets you a potential reward from a dragon as well. that in GreenMonkey's shoes could be the offense he's looking for because he doesn't have those Ragnaroks. So dragons, if they cough up, let's say an Illumina, you know, Ragnaroks are cool. Illuminas are really cool.
Absolutely, or even given his level, something like a Valiant Knife or an Atma might be close to doing some damage. Because GreenMonkey is pretty high level relative to where he's at in the seed.
He also bought an offering, so a VK would go a long way for him already. So yeah, a lot of potential for GreenMonkey. We also get another Thunder Shield down in the basement here before the Tentacle fight. So that is that's a big pickup as well, just to give that extra elemental protection there. It looks like there was another offering looted as well. So GreenMonkey well on his way to letting everyone hit things very rapidly, but doesn't have the things to actually hit things yet. We have Vargas on Gaar's side. We have Kefka on GreenMonkey's side. There is a Ragnarok proccing Flare. Vargas is down on Gaar's side. And on GreenMonkey's side, I assume we will be seeing an escape very quickly from Kefka here. Usually not one to stick around much.
He's got a whole tower to manage. He can't spend time just chilling in the basement like this.
And there is that escape. Get a save from Gaahr here after completing the Magitech factory using a second save slot just in case he needs to reset for some reason. Maybe this is like a super gross Magimaster, who knows. That's a Yeti though, so that incentivized check for clearing out Magitech factory yields Esper, Zonk, Character, and just a leader. Not going to be scary at all here. Gonna go for the 1 and 4 on Chainsaw. Does not get the instant death, but this leader's gone anyway after this swing. Axes Celis one question before he goes. Celis answers it with bye-bye.
Yep, and getting the Umaru there, which is very nice. See if maybe Gaahr decides to see if they pay off that Umaru with doing the Ice Dragon plus the 2 Narsh checks. World of Rune Narsh.
Yeah, and that Umaro check definitely incentivizes poking about for the dragon. No lock, so we can't go through and do all of World of Ruin Narsh at once. But definitely going through and being able to clear the majority of this certainly will help out. And no struggle for characters, which can be something that you see fairly often. But looks like GreenMonkey did get an Esper of unknown origin and unknown capabilities from that Tentacle boss check with Kefka there. So we'll report back whatever that is once we figure it out to y'all. It looks like Gaahr is going to save first, probably take the dragon after this, unless he really doesn't want auto-reflect, but have not seen anything in the way of curative magic, so I think the auto-reflect is going to be fine for him here, and then rely on X potions for healing, elixirs, etc. Also, heads up by taking the Snow Muffler off of Umaro. Oftentimes, Umaro's best addition to the party is the Snow Muffler that he comes wearing. And another hero ring for GreenMonkey there to go with a Force Shield, I believe that was. So 2 pretty nice things there. And we have the Dirt Dragon hanging out where the Ice Dragon normally would be.
Yeah, and I like GreenMonkey here, checking the check before the dragon, just in case it's an Esper or a character you want to gain the benefit of the stuff. And let's see, he's got Palador for haste 2, and then Tritok. So now up to 4 Espers. Did not see what was on Tritok.
Nope, did not catch it either. It's likely something though, and hopefully we'll see that shortly with the Esper musical chairs that we have going on here. Doesn't look like it though, unfortunately. So we'll have to play that guessing game. And that's fine. We'll get there in the end. Gaahr was able to take out the dragon. I did not catch what it was, and we have the
Fixed
red
dice.
dragon. Oh, fixed dice. No offering for Gaahr, though. So fixed dice are okay, but not really what he was looking for with no offering yet. For GreenMonkey, that's a much better reward. Just an Ultros here at the Tritalk spot.
And that was an Ultros.
Yeah, 2 Ragnarok swings because of that 20 extra vigor and the levels we've gained, and already hitting for mid 4,000s. That is the power of good weapons in this flag set. Another Esper Rama popping up, and we'll see if Gaahr also looks to go for the monster in a box here. If he hangs a left and then avoids the pitfall, he'll be able to potentially swoop up whatever monster is in that box, and looks like that is what he's going for. GreenMonkey's Mog unfortunately died in the fight there, but we get a Ragnarok for GreenMonkey, so that is huge. It's much later than Gaahr, but at least he now has one, and that's huge. And there is the Katana Soul for Gaahr, so now he's got fixed dice offering, assuming he can Noise Blaster and get the Slayer's Edge here.
And good thing there by Gaahr, just not even bother wasting time with attacks, just lets Katana Soul attack itself and wait on if you need to redo the Noise Blaster. Nice little time save there in terms of skipping the animation time.
Yeah, less is more. A lot of the time, if you have powerful actions you can do, or you can gain time by doing nothing, it can be one of the hardest things to learn in speedrunning, is that oftentimes there's this thing called action economy, which means, do I benefit in any way from taking an action with other characters? If the answer is no, or if the answer is I lose time, don't take that action. Just sit there. And so good implementation of that by Gaahr there. And we see GreenMonkey going to be going and completing this Ancient Castle check. I'm curious to see where he goes next. I wonder if Magitech Factory is on the radar for him.
And Gaahr doing the offering fixed dice on Realm. Also, you will note that gave the Moogle Charm to Realm rather than Atlas Armlet, because a lot of fixed dice is not, I don't believe it's actually dependent on your raw stats.
Well, here's a fight that offering fixed dice is not quite super useful for, but we are going to throw a drill at Haydn. Going to hit it a couple times. I wonder if we're even going to see Realm attack here with those fixed dice, just because of all the multi-targets. It looks like we're either getting magic there or an attack with the fixed dice. I couldn't quite tell which he opted for. It looks like we do have some dice coming out, though. Realm picking appropriately, goes for the boss on the first hit. And now here's where this plan kind of stinks, is that sometimes she rolls onto the little ones, but a big roll to the Haydn itself, and yeah, that's the fight. Realm rolling good. Better lucky and good, one might say.
And we have a go-go. We will see if Gaahr follows this check. I don't believe Gaahr has actually found a shop that sells warp stones. Might have found, okay, he's got 2. So can do the go-go check right now, should he want to.
I don't think he's going to. I know that he hates everything related to go-go, the character, the check, and all of that. So if I had to, bet on this, to save my life, I don't think he's going to go through and do the go-go check. I think he's going to go do anything else that is not that check, while GreenMonkey is going to, and looks like this is, I think, Lone Wolf, Kefket Narsh, and Moogle Defense probably going to do the World of Balance Narsh play here for GreenMonkey.
Yeah, and one thing to note here, that Gaahr is going to the auction house. Gaahr also already has all his characters and just needs Espers. So I would expect after he finishes what we know as Chatternook here, we'll probably dip into the auction house, see if he could buy an Esper maybe. That would be a nice little time save since you're doing them both the same trip.
Yeah, he is going to be a little disappointed potentially here because this is going to be a 7th character. We know that this is where Mog is. So not exactly what Gaahr is going to want to see, but maybe he will then go do all of World of Balance Narsh as well. We see Realm is going to pop off on this one poor enemy. This little guy did not deserve all 4 of these dice. That was pretty rude, but gets through the fight anyway. And looks like an Esper from the Lone Wolf check. So that is 5 and 5. 5 characters, 5 Espers, 1 dragon for GreenMonkey. 6 characters, 5 Espers, 1 dragon for Gaahr. So still a very close race. Even given the fact that Gaahr had those Ragnaroks so much earlier. GreenMonkey doing a great job keeping pace. W Wind, okay, that's ability scaling in a nutshell. I thought that was W Wind. I guess that just whiffed on everyone, or I was seeing things.
It looked like it was only
side.
targeting one person. It did say W Wind, but maybe it's a special version.
Certainly possible, because I love seeing things like countered Mertens that are single target. That always tickles me.
Meanwhile, I believe this is our 3rd Ultros over on GreenMonkey's side.
Yeah, not too threatening as far as the Ultroses are concerned. The fight on Gaar's side generally would be more threatening in Chatternook, but I have a feeling that between Dice and Ragnaroks, this Chatternook is going to have a pretty rocky road here. And we saw, I believe that was Ice 3 come out from Realm on Ultros, and then Ultros went away. Didn't quite see what we got. We received something, though. So that's good to know. Another Esper, it looks like. Thank you, Schwantz.
And then I believe that is Locke there, so that is going to be another character for GreenMonkey, which will be his 6th character.
And honestly, a wonderful character to pick up as well. Locke's equip pool is just so dang good. One of my favorite characters to get in this flag set. However, that being said, I don't know that we take Locke at this juncture for GreenMonkey just because of the investment into other characters so far. So really quite interesting a decision coming up here for GreenMonkey. I know that he's already said no to Mog. Curious to see if anyone else gets put on the bench here. And looks like you were correct, Arusta. Gaahr is going to do the auction house right now while he's here. And a 50,000 gold cure ring. That is... That's a thing.
Seems like a good investment.
Oh, it was just a 10k item. Okay. Still a bad investment. Gaahr leaving, going back in, going to see if he can play with the auction house a little more to try to pick up the Esper here. If you do this in the World of Ruin, you can basically go through and just remove these items from the pool by going through and getting the 10k, the 50k, and then I think the 20k is going to end up being the Esper at that point. But Gaahr's saying the 50k item, I'm good, not going to bother with this. Meanwhile, Doomgaze, the jump scare boss in Worlds Collide, if your levels are multiples of 5, you're going to have a bad day. GreenMonkey's were not, and so his day is saved.
Yeah, it looks like Gar might be going to actually just buy it for 54,000. Ooh, which is a Valiant knife. It's not the Esper he was looking for, but you are still perfectly happy to see that.
Yeah, especially because he does have that offering from the Katana Soul. While fixed dice are neat, VK, especially if we can find some good defense, can do a whole lot more consistent damage. Looks like Gar is going to go through and go do this Ancient Castle check now. And very curious, yeah, the VK goes on Realm right away, says, I'm done with these dice, as cool as they might be. Let's hit some things.
Yeah, and that's also a nice thing because fixed dice are surprisingly slow with the offering. That time, you just feel the time eating up.
Yeah, especially on this flag set as well, where you get such a bonus for just hitting things with big swords, big daggers, things like that. Offering fixed dice is a really cool problem to be solved, or a very cool, I guess, solution to a problem in other types of flags. But here, where you get such a benefit by just using weaponry, fixed dice aren't often the answer. So, if you're playing the Goddess's Edict flags, if you're playing Poltergeist Fury, fixed dice offering is a lot more desirable than it is in this flag set. So, the VK makes a lot of sense from a consistent damage standpoint. Even though it's only got, I want to say, like 150 or 170 battle power or something like that. So it's not super great, but, it's still pretty good. And looks like, yeah, there was offering Thunder Shield back-to-back in those chests there, which GreenMonkey got earlier. Now, if Gar wanted, he could go and do fixed dice offering and VK offering, but doesn't look like that's in the cards for him.
Yeah, meanwhile, GreenMonkey showing us that the Triads Esper that he has and Gar does not is the one that has the Ice 3, so that's a nice little thing that GreenMonkey has over on his side.
Yeah, Ice 3 is still relevant. It's a very good thing to have, especially with the Realm and decent magic power. So that'll give him the ability to be casting some spells. It might help a little bit with Tiger in Phase 2 of Final Kefka. It might also help with Poltergeist if Realm ends up on that side of the statues, wherever Poltergeist is. So could be a very interesting thing to see where those statues end up. But Gar also going to be getting that Triads Esper at some point soon. So that advantage, while GreenMonkey has it now, will be a thing of the past shortly. So Arusta, if you're in our runner's shoes at this point, and I know that you and I both would be playing, if we were playing this seed, we'd be doing a lot of the same things, just a lot slower than these runners, because I know that we're both okay at this game, and these two are phenomenal at this game. Where do you think our runners are going next, especially in GreenMonkey's shoes? Where do you think that he should go or will go? Is he going to keep trying like lock checks or something else?
So I really like this tunnel armor check because tunnel armor is a quick check. I mean, in this, at their level, like, you're 45 minutes in, you're already thinking like, hey, my opponent could be only a couple items away from go mode. So I would be looking for the fastest checks I have. So I would think I would probably dip Narsh again, dip Narsh to see what the weapon shop has, because that's a very fast one. I don't know about Opera House. Like, if you need more levels, Opera House would be a nice thought, but and I think, really, I think then, I would not want to do Phoenix Cave, because Phoenix Cave just always feels bad, even though it's actually slightly faster than you'd think. What would you think?
I'm kind of, on board with that line of thought that like quick checks now, because, on GreenMonkey's side, we're 3 Espers from go mode. On Gar's side, we're 2 Espers from go mode. On Gar's shoes, I don't believe he got the actual Esper from the auction house. So I think that he may go get that, but hasn't gotten it yet. Now, I may be wrong in that, but I think he reset when it rolled another box the second time and didn't go back in.
Correct.
In GreenMonkey's shoes, yeah, the weapon shop check is great. I don't think he's even going to bother with the curse shield at this point. And then if he hasn't done Esper Mountain, and I'm not sure if GreenMonkey's done Esper Mountain yet or not, but if he hasn't done that, that's a pretty quick one as well. So I definitely agree that the quicker the checks, the better at this point.
Yeah, and I don't know if GreenMonkey has actually checked Zen Thief. I know Gaahr checked it and then ended up buying it later, but if GreenMonkey hasn't checked Zen Thief, I would definitely be checking that as well, because that is a very quick check, and at this point, GreenMonkey should have plenty of money. It won't pay off, unfortunately, but that would definitely be one I'd check too.
Yeah, for sure. And looks like, according to Schwanson, thank you very much, Schwans, for doing a wonderful job restreaming here. GreenMonkey is going to Esper Mountain now, so is going to get his Esper from the mountain, is going to get through this Tri-Talk, and this being the fight where I think Gaahr was 5 damage points away and killed it. So we'll see if we can get similar swag from GreenMonkey on his side. But this will put him at 8 Espers. And then if he wanted to, he could go play the auction house game as well, or go do the World of Ruin weapon shop check as well for lock. So GreenMonkey may actually have a bit of an advantage on pure checks here. But I am curious on Gaahr's side how close he is to a potential skip at this point. With 7 characters, 7 Espers, 2 dragons, and a couple Zonks in there. He's not anywhere close to the 13 Espers. He's a couple characters off, but I don't know his check count. If he gets to like 20 or 21, does he go for the 24 checks, go for like the 5 dragon image or something like that? And it looks like he's at 16 checks according to Schwantz. Thank you very much for that.
Yes, then I think the interesting thing will be, if I remember right, there was 1 Esper up here, but no more than that, but then he gets lock. Where does Gaahr go after that? Does he try the lock checks, like the very quick lock checks like Weapon Shop? Does he just decide, forget it, I'll just go ahead and buy the one that I know exists? Where would you go?
I think as soon as you get the 8th, you can definitely go and peek the Weapon Shop, because that's faster than the auction house, and then if it's nothing, potentially even reset to keep the check counter down. If you can stay under 20 checks, you can cooperate a little better with scaling. So as far as that's concerned, the way that scaling works, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, it's the checks that you've completed times 2.5 on these flags. So it maxes out at level 50, and basically if you can stay under 20 checks that way, you can fight statue bosses that maybe won't be level 50 and make it a little easier. So if Gaahr can complete this in, let's say, 18 checks, he can have a little bit of an advantage on the scaling for the statues. And a runner of either Gaahr's or GreenMonkey's caliber certainly can take on Final Kefka at the levels that they're at. Over 2,000 health, got some pretty big swords to hit things with. So definitely a situation where both runners are capable at their current levels. Maybe a little bit more needed for GreenMonkey, but looks like he's about to do another dragon. And so, after this dragon, I'd have faith in him being able to complete everything as well. So I think they're both in a good situation here, and just curious to see who does what from here on out.
Yeah, and to confirm, looking at GreenMonkey doing his Esper shuffling, he does appear to be at 8 Espers, so going to do looks like the Opera House Dragon, like you said, might end up just going and buying his last Esper after this. And we did see that the Narsh Weapon Shop has an Esper, so if Gaahr chooses to do that rather than playing Auction House Roulette, he will be in Go mode himself.
Mm-hmm. Now, do we know, GreenMonkey, did he do the Vanilla Ice Dragon spot in World of Ruin Narsh? Because if he did, this would be Dragon 3 and get him to auto haste, which could be a big deal. And And looks like Odin was in the Narch weapon shop, and oh yeah, no Umaro for GreenMonkey because Umaro was Magitech Factory, so he would not have done that. So pardon me on that. We'll see if GreenMonkey does end up getting a third dragon, or if he just sticks with these two for levels.
Yeah, I mean, there is the option if you really want that auto haste, you can do it in Kefka's tower, either as a, hey, send your entire party to the right, go through Inferno, then the dragon, then warp out, or just do the middle just for the dragon and bail.
And we see Realm at very low HP, 4 swings with a Valiant Knife, 12,000 damage or so, maybe even upwards of 14,000 there. And yeah, that's good and done. And meanwhile, a gold dragon on GreenMonkey's side can be an aggressive little bugger, but it is gone. Gaahr, the first to unlock Final Kefka, so that is his 9th Esper. So he's at 7, 9, and 2. We'll see if he takes on a third dragon to get auto haste, or if he says, nah, I'm good, we'll carry on from here. While GreenMonkey, I believe, is 1 Esper away, 1 Esper behind, but does have a couple of fairly quick checks at his disposal. Looks like Gaahr is going to do the Opera House Dragon. That's going to get him a third dragon, because he has done the Ice Dragon and the Ancient Castle Dragon. So this will be his third for auto haste. And I don't think at this point he's likely to go for 5, though it is tempting to clear out the middle and the right dragons in Kefka's tower for more levels and the auto image when relying on a VK user. But I don't think with the rest of the levels on his other party members he's going to bother with that, because this is not just relying on VK offering Realm. This is the whole party can do things.
Yes, and I believe Gaahr also has Life 3 on at least one of his characters, maybe 2. And Life 3 does ignore auto reflect.
Yeah, Life 3 ignores auto reflect, and if someone were to die, Life 2 will also just bring him back up at full health. So still ways around potential death, even if the VK user dies. The only thing you'd want to be aware of is them dying as the last hit on a tier in Final Kefka, because that would be bad and they'd be removed. Potential mitigation. One of my favorite things with a VK user is to buy a Mirage Vest and put it on them, and that way they get the image status. Looks like GreenMonkey, though, he does have 9 Espers, and so looks like he has Kefka unlocked, and in he goes. Looks like he is loading a... I think that's the middle lane, I believe he loaded up, and so he is going to likely get auto haste from one of these dragons, or it might be the right lane he loaded up.
Looks like the right lane. So get everybody that extra experience both from the dragon, but then also for Inferno.
Yeah.
Which if I'm going to overload a party, I think that's the one I always do, is just because then you get 2 bosses worth.
So definitely a very close race. I think Gaahr certainly had the advantage early with the Ragnaroks and may still have a little bit of an advantage here, but I do not think this is this is over by any stretch. Weird things can happen in the statues. Weird things can happen in the Final Kefka fights. The statues themselves, the statues are quite rude at times. If you send the wrong people to the wrong places, then you can get bodied pretty badly by the statues. They are shuffled, so you're always going to see Goddess, you're always going to see Doom, and you're always going to see Poltergeist. So those 3 bosses will always be doing the statue shuffle, basically playing musical chairs up there, just to mess with the runners once they get there. Doom, usually not too bad of an issue, but boy howdy, that Poltergeist is one spicy chicken, eh, Arusta?
Absolutely. I believe GreenMonkey does have stop. I saw someone learn it, so that is very helpful. But, I mean, not just the statues, but then there's also, or not just that statue, but also Goddess, when you're relying on physical damage like Gaahr is, can sometimes be a pain. Offering goes by it, but if you happen to have sent the wrong party down there and it's, the party that has Ragnaroks, hitting yourself with a Ragnarok is not fun.
No, because Love Token, it can be ignored by Offering, but Love Token is not ignored by physical attacks. So you go and you try to bop, and Goddess is going to bop back by basically having your party members bop themselves or each other. Looks like GreenMonkey is going to take on this dragon here. It is so nice and kind to open with Meteo. That was pretty rude, but that is ability scaling right there. Realm dropping a nice solid Ice 3. No idea how much damage it did, but I'm sure it was great because Realm is great. And GreenMonkey going to be looking to get his auto haste at this point as well. And so it looks like Gaahr is going to be trying to make Yeti Spaghetti here, while GreenMonkey is finishing up this dragon. And yeah, looks like GreenMonkey is through the dragon. Very curious to see what this reward is. Of note, we've seen no Luminas to this point in this seed, which is a bit of a rarity. We'll see if this changes GreenMonkey's fate at all, or just gets him... So that looks like a Mega Elixir again, so I think we have plenty of Mega Elixirs.
Yeah, I think both runners have at least 2, because actually I think GreenMonkey very well might have 3. Oh, and the hook is just being mean to GreenMonkey right now.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to this. I was doing a race last week, and I got stuck here for like 2 minutes because I was trying to grab that hook and it just wouldn't let me leave. It was very annoying. So definitely feel for GreenMonkey there. But he did get out, and now he's looking to go in. Curious to see if he stacks the middle here, or if he now splits his party and makes the climb up. Looks like we are getting split parties now, so he is also prepared to make his dive. So Gaahr is, what would you say, about 1 lane up on GreenMonkey at this point? Maybe a lane and a half? It's very close.
Yeah, pretty much 2 lanes, because he just hit the switches, or the first set of switches, so... But, I mean, it's still definitely close enough it's anybody's game, especially, like I said, since GreenMonkey has magic and Gaahr really doesn't. It could be something where, if you sent the wrong, like, Goddess could cause you trouble. I don't know if Gaahr has stop, but Spicy Chicken can always be Spicy Chicken. Still very much anybody's game.
That Ice 3 in particular could be very beneficial if Realm ends up where that Spicy Chicken is in particular. Physicals are great, but Poltergeist has auto safe, I believe it is, which just increases his defense quite a bit. So even like Ragnarok swings, if you're not getting procs, they're only doing like 1/15 of his health. Maybe a little more with the power the power and the levels that we have, but it's not the power overwhelming that we've been seeing, the 5 and 6 thousand hits. That's not going to happen with the Spicy Chicken. We do, in theory, get a reprieve here on Gaar's side, but Rexel, I mean, it's going to be fine. It's annoying, but it's going to be fine. Rexel loves to be in Kefka's tower, by the way.
It does, but actually, since neither of these ones are the offering, this is actually perfect. Both the single target damage, so you can avoid, offering hitting the soul savers and just wasting time as they disappear and reappear.
Yeah, and Rexel has a ton of magic defense, but as you can see, a couple of 4,000 damage point drills and a couple 8,000 damage point Ragnarok hits, and Cure 3 picked up by someone there as well. Not that it's particularly relevant because we have auto reflect, but interesting to see. And looks like we are swapping to fixed dice instead of Ragnaroks. This is a pretty heads up, in my opinion, on Gaar's side. Knowing that either if Goddess or Poltergeist shows up here, that this is going to make either of those statue bosses far easier than just attacking. And it is Goddess, so that offering is going to pay dividends here. May do less consistent damage, but will be doing far more in the way of overall damage. Because he won't be hitting his own party. Unless he rolls 1, 2, 3 every time, or 1, 2, 3 every time. There's a 2, 2, 6, that's better. And a 2, 2, 3. So that was about 4,000 damage in 4 hits. That was very bad.
Yeah, and starting off with the capture there, nice play, because all these statue bosses actually have fairly nice capture/steals. Didn't get it, but probably worth the attempt to at least see it.
We have done more damage with drill than we have done with fixed dice so far in 8 hits. That's not good. That is triple 5s though. Finally, Edgar showed up for Gaahr, and this is going to dispatch Goddess here. And so GreenMonkey making the climb up here, basically going to be the middle lane behind at this point. So probably needs a final Kefka wipe from Gaahr or troubling statues. Now it'll also be interesting to see who else can wear those fixed dice, because we can play the game of offering fixed dice merchant, basically where we just send them around to all the different individuals. So I do wonder if Gaahr checked if multiple people can wear those fixed dice. One of the things we didn't bring up yet is in Doom's Rage, 50% extra item equips are available. So basically, instead of the normal 33%, vanilla plus 33%, it's vanilla plus 50. So a lot of extra people can wear a lot of extra things. So very curious to see if fixed dice, and it looks like Mog can wear fixed dice, and going to get the offering as well. So that is going to be a boon for Gaahr also. Again, don't know if he checked that or if it's just fortune, but this is Doom here. So hopefully he can deal with the poltergeist on the other side. That is the real scary one.
Absolutely, and the other thing you might have seen Gaahr do was he did equip beads on Edgar, which is a subtle thing, but that evasion can be very helpful if you don't have calmness protection, which he only has life 3. So, maybe if you want to just YOLO strats, hope the beads save you from the dodge if you need to.
Absolutely. And GreenMonkey, losing no time on that Rexol fight, very quickly dispatches it and is going to be off to fight his Goddess.
Absolutely, and wanted to shout out Saberwolf Gaming. Thank you, Saberwolf, for the raid. We appreciate it. Welcome, Raiders. We are in Kefka's Tower here. This is Team GrandTrain versus Team Ultima. These two teams are right at the top of their standings, so this is a key game for the division here.
And we do see that love token come out on GreenMonkey's side, so is going to be slowed down a little bit by this because he was relying on drill and physical hits, so this may just be relying on drill now. And Doom is down on Gaar's side, so he now is a full statue up, plus whatever is remaining on this Goddess fight, which is taking a little bit longer just because that love token came out, unfortunately, for GreenMonkey. But should be very close anyway, because Goddess just doesn't have a lot of health. And as I say it, Goddess is going down there. So Doom is basically the difference between the runners. But Drill, my goodness, Drill is doing work for our runners here.
Yep, so only thing left on Gaar's side is to do this last thing, which we do know that Realm can do the fixed dice offering, so given how he's done it so thus far, expect him to equip it.
Yeah, can do either fixed dice or Valiant Knife. So it will be interesting to see which Gaahr opts to do. He is leaving Realm in the front row, and so I think he's doing this so he can start out with fixed dice, and then once Realm takes some damage, then he can go through and just have her swap over to the VK. As I say that, he swaps over to the fixed dice now. Promptly rolls a terrible first roll, a big second roll, a moderate third roll, and a real good fourth roll, and pushes about 20,000 damage there on the first set of dice, which is quite good.
On the stopped Poltergeist, because Poltergeist decided to try a stop and has a taste of his own medicine here.
Yeah, and big rolls coming out as well. Another 15k there. The last two were underwhelming, but big rolls there. Stop on the chicken means that this should be done with some good rolls here. Yep, that'll do it there. That's 7,800 roll for sure, and quad 9s, because why not at the end. Those probably would have been nicer earlier, but gaahr not going to complain, I assume. And GreenMonkey does have to take a reset, unfortunately, here. So it looks like things went a little bit awry for him. Gaahr is ready to go into the final Kefka fight. Going to be stepping on the switches at about probably the 107.15 to 107.30 mark after equipping. And so probably looking, eyeing a 115-ish, a 116 somewhere in there, which is just a heck of a time for any of these Warring Triad flags. And GreenMonkey not going to be far behind.
Yeah, GreenMonkey just trying to figure out the best way to handle this, because that was reset on Doom, because I think GreenMonkey was relying on the Ice 3 from Realm, and then, whoops, don't have Ice 3.
And GreenMonkey doing a bit more damage here this time around, hopefully can stay sustained. While Gaahr is standing in front of Kefka having a lovely little conversation before he looks to dispatch the boss. Now, worth noting, we don't have any calmness protection other than life 3. I do believe we've learned stop on someone. Have we seen mute anywhere? Because I do not recall seeing siren.
I don't think we have mute unless, the natural magic user is Mog, who he's not using, so I do not believe we have mute.
And for instant death, I know we have chainsaw, but other than that, have we seen anything else? And we see a 108.30 is our entry time here.
I believe there is an Odin, but I don't know if Gaahr equipped it.
Gotcha. I do see Palador. Palador is air quote calmness protection, the largest of air quotes. And Odin is from Narsh Weapon Shop, so we do not have it on Gaar's side. So it looks like we're just going to be doing the old prey strat, if you will, for Tier 3.
Yeah, Gaahr does have break, and I believe it worked the first time. So that at least is some version of instant death. Yeah, and one thing Chad is pointing out that is very good is that GreenMonkey, in order to get around the reflect, is casting flare on his own auto-reflect party, because when Doom gets into this phase, he casts reflect. So very nice strategy there.
Yeah, as someone who for many years played Free Enterprise for the Final Fantasy IV randomizer, reflect strats are a huge part of that, and you hardly ever get to see them in this game. So that's fun to see as someone who has long dealt with reflex strats. So always interesting. But meanwhile, we see just one arm left here in Tier 1 for Gaahr. Now, no arms left here. Did not kill the head last, so no Quake, which is good because it's very hard to float your party when you have Reflect on. Tier 2 is when things are going to start getting interesting, though. Realm has taken a bit of damage, so that Valiant Knife is going to be doing more work. While GreenMonkey getting there against Doom, but certainly not having the same fortune that that Gaahr was able to have and get through this. This Doom usually not an issue for most runners, but this was kind of what we had talked about earlier, that sometimes the wrong party just ends up on the wrong side with the statues, and then it's unfortunate. So nothing that GreenMonkey has done wrong, just the statues not in the right order for him tonight.
Oh, and Gaahr showing off the bad breath strats, or sour mouth, I guess, to get the mute out. Very nice.
Yeah, sour mouth as a lure, something that can be used against the Katana Soul as well. You just have to eye drop it afterwards, so that way it can Slayer Edge itself without missing. So pretty interesting, the application of sour mouth, all throughout a seed potentially. Now we use Noise Blaster in this one for Katana Soul, but sour mouth also can work for it. GreenMonkey, meanwhile, is through Doom, so just has Spicy Chicken left. Is a statue and about a tier and a half, I would say, behind Gaahr here. And we have a question from chat about Life 3. Does it persist between tiers? It does, as would something like an image status from a Fenrir or like a Golem. But if it gets dispelled by magic, which can happen, then that Life 3 will go away. And even if muted, the final quarter, the final dispels from magic in Tier 2 will land. That is just part of the script of the boss. Oh, and I am being corrected. Golem does not persist through phases rather in Final Kefka. This is why I am a rookie runner of this game. Just enjoy talking about it. Thank you, chat, for letting me know.
Yeah, and Gaahr using the Whirlwind strats to recover the party. Very nice, because you can't cure normally. I believe Gaahr does have several Mega Elixirs to burn if needed, but Whirlwind serves that purpose very nicely.
Yeah, so Whirlwind and Sourmouth both being put to great use here. So those lures paying off, even though the magic power is relatively low in the seed.
Yeah, now on GreenMonkey's side, still has to go through the Spicy Chicken here, and I look like that was an attack after searching through the menu, so this might not be the person who has Stop. Hopefully, Poltergeist will be nice like he was to Gaahr and stop himself.
And we see Ice 3 coming out for 3,200. My guess is this Poltergeist has like 50 to 55,000 health, so gonna be here for a hot second if that's the case. But hopefully we are able to get a stop out sooner than later.
And that was that muted Dispel spam, which did go on Realm, who was one of the people who got Life 3'd, so need to renew that, but overall, still in very good shape on Gaar's side.
Well, and chat letting us know, Poltergeist has 42,000 health, so not quite as scary, but that's still a lot of health when you're doing 3,000 a hit. So we'll see if GreenMonkey can win the damage race against Poltergeist here. And we start out with a W Wind from Tier 3 here, which is potentially good because it's not Merton. And I don't know if everyone on Gaar's team has Merton Protection. We are going to use one of the Mega Elixirs here, and looks like getting Life 3 back up on the rest of the party. And there was Reflected Stop on GreenMonkey's side, so that's great to buy him some time here. Poltergeist, I believe, does have a pretty quick ATB bar, though, so that stop is going to wear off because we're not able to wait trick here. So while these animations are going, that stop is going to wear off, and then things can get a little bit spooky once that wears off.
Yeah, meanwhile, Gaahr has Life 3 set up on pretty much the entire party. doing very solid damage, even though Realm is fully healed, so not doing the same damage he was doing earlier, but everybody else is knocking out at least 4 to 5k per hit, so it should be in very strong control on Gaahr's side.
Yeah, we might see a train come out. That would be not great. Meteo coming out is actually probably fine, because we parry over to Realm, and then just attack with her. Double Meteo less fine, but we should be able to just attack here now with Realm and get through, and everyone's going to live through this unless someone gets double targeted with Calmness and doesn't block either. And that's a block for Edgar, and 0 people perish. So Gaahr able to get through, nobody drops, and on to tier 4 he goes.
Yeah, and since nobody drops, and that's an extra level of safety because gets in with the life 3 still up there.
Yeah, it looks like GreenMonkey, even with the stop that happened on Poltergeist, still had to take a reset, unfortunately, so he's going again here. Looks like just the way that the statues were lined up here just was not what GreenMonkey needed. So a bit unfortunate to see what was otherwise a very close race. The statues just doing a number to GreenMonkey here.
Yeah, so this is the Beyond Chaos where he shows the skull. See, this is where he can go full out at Kefka, because he will not counterattack while he's charging up for Gaahr. You just need to make sure, if you can't kill him before then, that you're ready to survive a Gaahr, but Gaahr will almost certainly not see that Gaahr come out.
If the Gaahr does come out, everyone but Edgar dies. So Gaahr best hope that Kefka dies here, and Kefka does die here. So Gaahr, crisis averted, 117 and change is going to be our final time here. Officially, it is 117.30. A very good time from Gaahr, and we shall see, if he wants to come in and chat, how he feels things went, and also see if we can get some love for GreenMonkey still going through this Poltergeist as well.
And we are joined by Gaahr. How are you doing today, Gaahr? GG's.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, that was a heck of a seed.
How happy
and we are joined by Gaahr. How are you doing today, Gaahr?
Relatively early Ragnaroks, and how much time did you hate spending in the menu trying to sell everything, but not all of everything because you had to keep some stuff to get them?
Yeah. So in Doom Seeds, because I normally plan on taking out at least 1 dragon, it makes it hard to heal. So I was loath to give up the elixirs, but I had Celeste with Pearlwind, and that goes through Reflect, and I was like, Ragnaroks are just really, really good, and there's no guarantee that I get any better weapon from dead checks. So let me sell the farm, buy a couple of rags, and then we can proceed with our seed. But it did take a while, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I just have to bring it up to tease you a little bit because I know how you play and know how you critique yourself, and I know that's one of the things that you would be a bit of a laugh at.
Yeah,
I did want to ask as well, finding the offering from the Katana Soul, obviously with the Umaro check. How happy were you to see that?
Extremely. So I was a little nervous about the offense that I would have for the statues. Ragnaroks are great. However, against all 3 of the bosses, there are significant problems with them. So with Goddess, you have the chance of getting Love Token. With Doom, you have the Image, which can take a while to chew through if you don't have Dispel. And with Poltergeist, because Poltergeist has autosave, you basically don't wind up doing any damage via physical attacks normally. So I knew that dice or some other kind of defense-piercing weapon was going to be the way to go. And so once I found the dice, I leaned pretty hard into trying to find offerings. Unfortunately, I didn't have to look long. And the hope was that, worst case scenario, I could just shuffle the fixed dice offering around and kill the statues that way.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. And I did want to ask, with regards to Goddess in particular, my last direct question about this seed for you. Did you appreciate Drill doing more than the fixed dice against Goddess?
Yes. So it's funny, I kind of crap on tools a little bit, but at high enough levels with high enough vigor, both Drill and Chainsaw do real damage. You saw me trying to chainsaw the long arm there, and part of that is because like it's a 25% chance to proc the instant death, which is cool if I get it, but if I don't get it, it's still like 5,500 damage, which is very respectable, given that Gaahr had basically nothing else going for him.
Yeah, very fair. A source of instant death, even if it's not the typical one that you would see. Arusta, any other questions in regards to this particular seed for Gaahr?
I would say the only other thing is, so when you went to the auction house, found it was nothing twice. Did you think about going back when you were getting near the end to get your last espers?
So, what happened there was I contemplated like sticking around and trying to get that esper because it was guaranteed to be an esper at that point. The hope was that the first time I went in, I could get the 50k item and then keep going from there. But the cure ring was actually the 10k, like the repeatable 10k item, and you don't want to buy that. It's just a waste of time. When I saw that twice in a row, I knew that if I kept going, I was just going to tilt extremely hard. So I went somewhere else and was trying to get espers elsewhere. Fortunately, it worked out. If I didn't find anything like at Mog, I would have come back and gotten it, and I would have spent an inordinate amount of time if I had to just to do it.
That's fair. Well, I mean, that was pretty much my main question here. I mean, you'll see, I'm sure you're watching the restream right now, is that GreenMonkey is now getting on to tier 2. Honestly, you guys were GreenMonkey entered Kefka's Tower just a little before you. You guys were pretty much neck and neck most of the way through KT. It's just when you got to the statues, GreenMonkey did not have that fixed dice, and I don't believe had a Valiant Knife either. Had like one Ragnarok, never found the viable ones. So GreenMonkey just had much slower statues and had a bit of a rougher time. So that's where this time difference is, but still looks likely to finish about 130. So that is still a fantastic time on GreenMonkey's side.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Ragnaroks were more than anything just a stroke of luck. But I was wholly prepared to go and kill a whole bunch of dragons in the pursuit of big shiny swords. So fortunately, I didn't have to try too hard.
Absolutely. So what are your thoughts on the event as a whole, or where your team stands going forward?
First of all, go Team GrandTrain. It's the best team out there. Please don't look at the record. I really like the event as a whole. I think that the flag sets are all unique enough to make runners think about things a little bit differently. And first of all, big shout outs to Double Down and the rest of the testing crew for putting this thing together, because I know it's a ton of work, and I think this is a phenomenal success. So I would love to see more things like this in the future. But yeah, I'm having a blast. And I mean, like, win or lose, I'm happy that I've got like really cool teammates. I love Bosch Nasty. I love Scarsfer. They're both great people and they're excellent players. So it's been a blast to play. So
awesome. Well, I mean, that's kind of all I've got. Possum, you have any last questions?
No, nothing else. Just want to say GG's, and GrandTrain off to a good start this week. You taking your team right now to a 1-0 record, bringing you up to 3-1 as well individually. So a good event for you so far, and for the team starting out week 4 to try to push y'all to the the winner's spot, if you will, from the group. In theory, making it so a potential playoff run could be even easier. So just GG's again, and congrats to the quick start to the week for Team GrandTrain.
Thank you so much, and thanks to both you, Possum, and Arusta for doing commentary. Who's tracking this? Scarciver and the Schwantz. Okay. So same folks as the previous restream. Thank you all so much for putting on these restreams. It's a ton of fun to watch these and to play in these. So I really appreciate all of y'all's hard work, and hope to see y'all do some more races in the future.
Definitely. Well, GG's again, and thank you so much for doing the actual hard work, which is playing the game at a high level and just letting us chat about it.
Well, thank you so much. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you. All right, so on GreenMonkey side, it looks like the stream has unfortunately lagged a little bit, but on Tier 2 was having a bit of a rough start on Tier 2, got Doom Tusked on one of the characters, and then got 2 other characters frozen, but looks like GreenMonkey had recovered when the stream froze, so hopefully things are going okay over there.
Yeah, Northern Cross not only took out 2 of his characters, but also his internet connection. It happens sometimes. We'll get him back, and we'll be able to continue talking about the remainder of GreenMonkey's run, and keep cheering him on. I am sure he is doing just fine and recovering here. That Ice 3 being queued up to help take out Tiger. Maybe Tiger even nice enough to throw something out there that will unfreeze his characters as well. And I do think we are back now. Looks like we are fighting. We are drilling. I think we might be in 10 hits. Nope, that was just a random hit for 200 on gaahr. I see repeated hits coming out now, though, so I think this is the 10 hit stage. So I believe hit is down. So probably all that's left is magic now.
Yeah, and I believe that was a bio attempt cast that didn't go off, so I believe magic is silenced, so should be in good shape here.
Yeah, may very well have used the sour mouth technique as well. I know that we saw some Whirlwind coming out earlier in the Poltergeist fight from GreenMonkey, so both runners making great use of their lures.
Yeah, and someone reporting in chat, Scarcer, that the sour mouth did come out, so good shape there.
Yeah, and huge thank yous to Scarcer for tracking this and Schwantz for doing the restream. It's hard enough as it is, but especially when there's the intermittent stream issues, keeping an eye on what is going on can be quite difficult. So thank you so much, Scarcer and Schwantz, for doing the behind the scenes stuff while we're kind of scrambling up here in the booth to figure out exactly what to say next.
All right, so moving on to Tier 3. Good amount of physical offense on GreenMonkey side, so shouldn't have any issue getting through this, as long as keeps an eye on the Meteo and, if it happens, train. I believe GreenMonkey did buy at least a couple echo screens and eye drops last time, and I believe also has found a couple remedies over the course of the seed, so even if train comes out, should be in decent shape.
Yeah, most definitely. The biggest fear here, I don't know what our Merton protection is, but an opening Merton to potentially drop Celeste and gaahr could be a little spooky. Realm and Edgar would walk it off, but I am a little bit concerned for the potential of an opening Merton versus a W Wind, a physical attack, or a nothing.
Yeah, I see GreenMonkey on his actual stream. It's like going in and out, but I'm trying to pull him back up in our streaming tools here. So He's on tier 3 now, though, at least.
Excellent. Thank you for that update, Schwantz.
A few moments later.
And we might be about to come back. I saw Schwantz is back.
And we are back. Thank you so much. It looks like we have GreenMonkey in tier 4. Looks like we have the Gaahr phase queued up. Appreciate everyone's patience while we had the stream coming back. And looks like we're back just in time to see the crack boom and the disappearance of one final Kefka. A time of 1:33:43 for GreenMonkey. Still a very respectable time given the trials and tribulations on the statues. So thank you everyone for sticking with us while we were bringing everything back up. And GG's again to GreenMonkey. We'll see if he is going to hop in for an interview or not. And I do believe he will be joining us shortly.
Yeah, sorry about that. Had a power flicker at the house, so the whole the whole everything crashed. We could just blame it on GreenMonkey's internet when he gets here.
We can blame it on the North Cross that froze 2 of his party members, his internet connection, and your power. We're just going to keep adding to that list.
There we go. Watch out for them Bolt 3 spells, folks. Yeah, let me join him. Drag him in here.
Okay.
GG's to you, GreenMonkey.
GG's. Brutal. Final Kefka.
Yeah, they sound pretty deflated, but it was honestly a heck of a run. The statues were in the wrong order for you. The final Kefka climb definitely didn't treat you nicely either. So
Yeah.
A bit of bad luck on your side, but certainly you proved you are still one heck of a runner. It was honestly a great run. Just some things went sideways, and that happens.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of times in these Doom Seeds, you find a lot of offense along the way, but I didn't feel that was the case as much this go around, so it was kind of tough.
Yeah, a lot of your dead checks ended up being mega elixirs, which doesn't really help anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Although I do wish I had a few more mega elixirs, as it turns out. I had forgotten where they were, which wasn't good. I probably needed to go buy a couple before jumping into things, because I ended up using them both before even getting to Kefka, which kind of made things a grind.
Yeah, but that use of Palador on the to skip Fallen one was a good
Oh,
play.
yeah.
Saved you a lot there.
Yeah, I was running low on resources, so it's like I can't do this. The whole you can't cure 3 your team is weird. Makes you rethink some stuff, so it's kind of cool. I didn't realize Sourmouth is single target. I was just using it on Tiger like 3 times, wondering why I was still getting hit by spells. And then
Yeah, both you and Gaahr made great use of Sourmouth, though. The single targeting aside, it was still great to see that used, as well as Pearlwind to do some healing. So making use of the lures even in a flag set with limited magic power.
Yeah. I think my big regret of the seed was I really liked keeping Celis, but I think keeping Gao was a mistake. There were snipers in shops. I think I needed to set up sniper offering unlock or something like that. It was a little rough because Mog at the time was the only one that could use sniper when I found it, and he was the one that I had just benched before jumping into Serpent Trench. And then but then when I got Locke, I think I was just worried because he was lower level, but I don't know, maybe it would have been worth it if I had thrown him up the middle with Edgar. And then, well, I don't know. Yeah, it still would have been tough. It was a lot of... I felt under-leveled for the whole... for the climb and all that stuff, too. Did Gaahr have warp stones? That was a big thing, too.
I think he found a couple just in random chests, but didn't actually buy any. The big difference is Gaahr managed to find buyable Ragnaroks in the world of Rune Zen, I believe. And so bought 2 pretty much right at the start of the seed. And that's probably the biggest difference, that he was able to get through those statues much easier because he had those in his back pocket.
The other big difference was the Vanilla Ice Dragon location, because he had found Umaro via Magitech Factory that dropped fixed ice. And so the fixed ice offering combo gave him the flexibility to manipulate that for the statues. Y'all were about a statue behind, a statue separated. It was honestly very, very close, but that's when kind of the fixed ice offering and the double Ragnaroks really kind of made the difference. You had basically kept up, the entire time down multiple pieces of equipment. Like, it was a heck of a run given what you were working with.
Yeah, that was like the Doom. I was doing like flare reflects on myself, and I was just like scrapping together whatever I could. I had to break my Thunder Shield and on Poltergeist. It was definitely I kind of was just hoping at that point that like Gaahr, was in a similar spot and maybe had to reset the tower or something like that. But it was a little weird. I would have liked to have cleared the middle, given where my offense was, but having no warp stones made it super awkward. So I didn't do that, and then I just kind of like did a partial clear or whatever. So, oh well, yeah, it was definitely felt like I was missing something, And fixed ice offering is like really good in these seeds with the statues, just because like it's such a nice answer for a single target character to be able to just roll their way to victory.
Yeah, definitely. And like Gaahr even used it, like rotated it between his parties just to make sure he always had an answer for, goddesses tricks, or like Doom's evade, all that. So yeah.
It's even good on Pulte. Pulte's, it's nice to have the auto reflect on Pulte. I kind of forgot about that. I was like, I'm screwed, and then he stopped himself, and I was like, oh yeah. I forgot he could do that. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
But still pretty tricky.
So that's kind of all I've got. Possum, you have any other questions?
Not really any other questions. Just again, it was a heck of a run to watch. For myself, is still a relatively newer runner. Getting to have kind of the bird's eye view, seeing 2 great runners like yourself and Gaahr go at it, is just a pleasure. And I just appreciate being able to watch it and see you guys do what you do. Whether that be with great resources or a lack of resources, it's always incredible to see the great gameplay that you bring to the table.
Sure, thank you, and thanks guys for doing the comms and all, restreaming and all that.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you for letting us commentate your race, and I'm going to take us out of here. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Big thanks to my co-commentator Possum, to Scarcer for doing the tracking, to Schwantz for doing the restream, and thank you to all the viewers. We couldn't do it without you, and really appreciate you as well.